bit of music to kind of like that. Huh?
Yeah, I do.
This is like the Skip Happens music, by the way. And I gotta let this play for a minute because I like this. Hang on, here we go. And Sam is over there because he's trying to bring it up on his phone.
Oh man, yes.
You got it?
Let me.
Good. All right.
I should tell my son. He'll watch it too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead. We'll wait. We'll let the music play. Well, we're live right now. And if you're just getting the, I guess, signal that we are live, you're getting the message, hang on because tonight's going to be really, 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 really good. So we're just getting our phones in sync. They run our lives. Everything is on our phones. All right. You ready?
Yep.
You ready?
Ready.
Welcome to Skip Happens, everybody. Wow. It's going to be a great night, my friend. We have a lot going on. There's a movie premiere coming up this weekend. And we are very excited about this. His roots are here in central New York, but when the mics were off, we were talking about the fact that it's been 40 years since you've been here.
40 years.
40 years you moved away, but there's a movie coming out. It's called Booze, Broads, and Blackjack. Carl Nicita is on Skip Happens tonight.
All right.
Hello, my friend.
Welcome.
So good to see you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
This
So
is
great to
an honor for you to be here because this is a big weekend for you.
Yeah.
You have the premiere at the Palace coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, yeah, this is so exciting because I used to work in radio in Syracuse, and when I worked in the radio, I was in Syracuse. I used to dream about moving to California. Okay, that was my dream, and then
That's still my dream, by the way.
and the thing is, I mean, especially in the wintertime, you know, I mean, I love Syracuse. Don't get me wrong. I really love
Right.
Syracuse, but you know how it is in the wintertime. You know, it's
Well,
horrible.
we've got a taste of it right now.
Yeah,
So.
and so I used to dream when I'd be stuck in a snowbank that it was sand dunes. Because I visualized it.
Right.
You know? So I got a chance to go to California. And I've been in California 40 years, but I've always had Syracuse in my heart. And while I was working regular jobs until I retired, I always had this idea for a book. I wanted to write a book, you know. And so I kept it in my mind for 30 years. Wow. And then when I retired 5 years ago, I as a joke, okay, I came back to Syracuse to visit my friends, Denny and Larry, and Bob Paris. And we went out to Tully's over on 7th North Street.
Okay.
Yeah. And we were there, and we're talking about the old times and stuff. And I said, you know what? Because it had been 35 years since I'd, you know, been in California. I said, just for the fun of it, I'm going to go back to California and write a book. And they all laughed, haha. And I said, I'm going to call it Booze, Broads, and Blackjack. As I walked out the door, right?
Love the title. Love the
I
title.
know, and here it is. Wow.
So I walk out the door, and then I come back to California, and I'm retiring. And I said, all right, let's do this, you know. So I wrote the book. And it came out 5 years ago on Black Friday.
Okay.
And when it came out on Amazon and everything, they were going to advertise it on Times Square on the Jumbotron.
Oh my gosh.
Because I had a big ad. I took out a big ad for the for the debut of the book. And so the book's coming out. Actually, it was 4 years ago. So it's going to come out. And when I contacted them, they said, well, you know, it's a slow weekend because it's Thanksgiving. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you 3 extra days for no additional charge. So I got the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh,
I got it on Thanksgiving for the Macy's parade.
wow.
And then I got it on Black Friday.
Right.
Wow.
So here's this.
Got a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, well, I know, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So when they did it, you know, they sent me a copy of this thing, you know, so I got it on this Jumbotron. And I took the picture and I looked at it and it said, you know, Booze, Broads, and Blackjack on this thing. And I wrote on it, coming to a theater near you.
Wow. And that was the start of the movie idea, I would take it.
that was.
Okay.
You know, so here it is now. It's actually going to be a movie. So when I go to the Marquee tomorrow at the Palace Theater, I'm going to take that and say 40 years or, you know, whatever. how many years
Exactly,
ago,
and here it
Here it
is.
is, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the story of my life, how things
That's
have been happening.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. So you got the movie.
Yeah.
The movie premiere was actually Saturday,
Right.
at the Palace. But it's just your history is amazing.
Thank
What you have done 40 years ago, you got up and left Central New York. You went to Bakersfield.
Yes.
And you've lived there. And
Yeah.
that's
So actually, the way it started out was when I tell this, I mean, to me, it's unbelievable. Okay, so I worked at WNDR. That was the last
way
station I
back
worked
in the
at.
day.
Yeah, back in Syracuse. And I used to do on Sunday. I did news, but then on Sunday nights we had a talk show. We had to do on, So if I didn't have something to talk about, I always talked about positive thinking. How if you think about something and if you really want to do it bad enough, you can do whatever it is in your life that you want to do. So that one night I'm talking about it on a Sunday night, and this guy calls up and he says, "You know what? You're full of." I don't know if you can say it on the podcast.
No, you can say it. It's a
Say whatever you want
podcast.
on
You're full of
podcast.
shit.
Yeah, say anything you want.
You're full of shit. They ain't gonna, it's crap. I said,
Right,
and I'm
right.
taping the guy on the air.
Yeah.
And I said, "Sir, I'll tell you what." I said, "As I'm sitting here today, I'm going to tell you something that I know that my lifelong dream is to move to California, and I'm going to get a job at a radio station in California." And I said, "I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen,
But it's going to happen.
but it's going to happen. And I'm going to play that tape back for you on the air, when it happens." He goes, "Yeah, it was full, yeah." So, okay, that's it, So 2 weeks later, I'm at WNDR, and a buddy of mine, Dan Leonard.
Obviously, that was out on Andrew.
Dan Leonard?
Dan Leonard,
Wow.
he was a buddy because we worked together.
Yeah.
That was on Andrews Road.
Yeah.
back
And
in
he
the
went
day.
to California also, right? Yeah.
So he was in California, and he was the general manager of a station in Salinas, California, out just south of San Francisco. So I'm at NDR doing the news, and the news line rings, and I answer, and it's Dan Leonard. He goes, "Hi, this is Dan Leonard." "Hi, Dan." He goes, "Have you ever thought about moving to California?" I said, "Are you kidding me? Is this a joke?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "I'm serious." He goes, "I have an opening here for a news director, and for some reason your name just popped into my head. So I thought, I'll give you a call and see." And I said, "Well, when do I come?"
Tomorrow.
He goes, 2 weeks. I said, "Well, first of all, it's February, okay?"
Right.
I
Couldn't
said,
wait to get out of
Right.
here.
I said, "What's the temperature?" And he goes, 79. I said, "All right, I'm on my way."
I might be there a little early.
Yeah.
I
Says it all.
didn't go to the state. I didn't get an interview. I just moved out there.
So you just packed
I just
everything
packed
up
everything up and I drove out there.
and you drove?
Yeah, my dad drove out with me, and that was a trip of a lifetime for him to.
Yeah, for 40 years ago to drive.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, it's a long drive now, but
Yeah.
even back then.
We
it
did
had to be-
600 miles a day, and
Wow,
it was like
okay.
5 days.
All right.
Yeah.
What were you driving?
It was a 73 Olds Cutlass.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gas hog.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But gas was only what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well,
50
cents a gallon
50 cents a
back then.
gallon.
59 cents.
bro.
It was 59 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
So the next week I go on the air, and I said, folks, last week I was on the air with this guy, and I was talking about positive thinking, and he told me I was full of shit. I said, I played the tape back. I said, "Well, I'm here to announce that I'm moving to California
Wow.
at
That's
a radio
great.
station."
And they went, he's not full of shit, he's serious.
Yeah. So I get to work there. Now I'm working with Dan Leonard. He's one of my heroes.
All of ours.
Yeah. Well, to go even back further than this, I mean, if I tell you this, you're not going to believe this. All right, I was 13 years old, and I always wanted to be in radio. Okay, and my high school in Central Square, you probably heard of this, WCSQ. A lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
So, are you from Hastings, Hannibal?
I'm from Brewerton.
Brewerton.
Yeah, Brewerton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So my high school had a radio station, so we could actually broadcast for like 30 miles, in the area. We used to get actually people calling in and request songs and stuff. So I'm there, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in radio, and I wanted to work at WNDR, which
I think everybody
yeah,
did back
yeah,
in the day. That was
that
like either WNDR or
WOLF.
WOLF.
Those were the
Right,
two.
Those are the two
yeah.
big ones, yeah.
We really couldn't get WOLF that good out in Brewerton because at nighttime, their pattern was.
But they were kicking
yeah.
ass in the city.
They lowered their.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to, my uncle had an uncle who lived in San Bernardino in California.
Okay.
And I flew out there to on spring break to see him. And when I was there visiting him, there was a radio station in San Bernardino called KMEN.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like they were the top station at the time. And I loved that station. And I would call up every day and request songs on that station in San Bernardino.
What was the format?
It was top 40.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'd call and request songs, and I talked to the jocks and stuff. And I even went by the radio station when I was there. So here I am, 13 years old. And when I was leaving, I'm getting on the plane. And I'm leaving, and my uncle, and that was before they had the jetways, so you got to climb up the stairs, and he standard and watch. I said, "Uncle Norm," I said, "You know what? One of these days I'm going to come out here and I'm going to work at that radio station." And he's going, "Oh, yeah. And, okay, see you later, kid." Whatever. Plane takes off. In my mind, I had seared Cayman, okay, for, flight time. So here I am now in California, and I'm at KDON in Salinas, and I was a news director, and one day I had R&R, open up R&R, and there's an ad in there that says, we need, looking for a news director in San Bernardino at this radio station. It didn't say what station it was. So I told the morning guy, because I was part of the morning team.
Right.
I told him, I said, I'm going to send a tape and resume. He goes, don't bother. He goes, by the time you send it in, this is EOE. They already hired somebody. It's just for EOE purposes. I said, no, I'm going to send a tape. So I did. And I get a call about a week later, and they said, hey, we got your tape and resume. We want to hire you. You sound really good. Would you interview? So I said, okay, I'll go for the interview. And I said, by the way, what station is this? Cayman.
Oh, wow.
So I go there.
That is awesome. It's a great story.
I got hired.
Yeah.
And that's where I met my wife. She lived in Riverside, and I was in San Bernardino. And, if I hadn't gone there, I wouldn't have met her. I wouldn't,
Right.
So, and then about 9 months later, they went bankrupt. They went out of business.
Oh, great.
But I got
Wow,
to
but
there.
you did get to work there. And I was looking at a lot of you, where you have been and what you have done. You not only did that, but you were with the police department.
Yes.
A little bit. What did you do for them?
Okay, so this is another thing. Okay, I worked.
This is fascinating, by the way.
I worked at actually in Bakersfield. So the way I ended up in Bakersfield was I was at San Bernardino, and then I lost my job, and then I called Dan Leonard, and he said, "Well, why don't you come back to Canaan in Salinas?" He took me right back. So I go back there. I worked there another year, and a buddy of mine worked at a competing station. His name is Kevin Keeshan. I don't know if you guys remember Bob Keeshan, the Captain Kangaroo.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Kevin
well.
Kevin Kangaroo was his uncle. So he and I were competitors, but we were friendly competitors. I mean, we would, just have breakfast every morning and stuff. And he calls me, he goes, he actually moved to Bakersfield at a news talk station in Bakersfield. And he calls me from there, and he says, have you thought about leaving Salinas? And I said, not really. And he goes, well, I have an opening at the station in Bakersfield. Would you mind coming down to see it? And I said, nah, I don't want to go. Because Bakersfield to me was like this dusty town,
Okay.
But
it was radio.
But it was radio, and it was growing. I mean, it was really
right.
growing because of Buck Owens and all that stuff.
Yeah, sure. Buck owned. Did he own the?
He owned station
group?
KUZZ.
Was Doug Flanagan? Did you know Doug at all?
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, he managed a station that Buck Owens owned.
Okay, yeah.
So way back in the day.
Yeah. So he goes, well, why don't you come down here and spend the weekend? And we can just shoot the shit and see what you think. So I go down there and I loved it. I thought, man, this is really cool. It's not far from LA, but it's nice. Nice town. And he goes, yeah, and I said, okay. So I got hired, and the station was owned by Ralph Edwards. Remember, This Is Your Life, Ralph
Yes.
Edwards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was there 4 months, and guess what happens? The station gets sold.
And you're out the door again.
So here I am again.
Welcome
man.
to radio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a revolving door.
It is. It's totally. So I'm working there, and then I got a job at a TV station as a news reporter. And I was there, and then they got a new news director, and he leaves, and somebody else comes in, and they're changing staff. And I said, you know what? I told my wife, I said, I can't take this anymore. It's like, you work someplace 6 months, and then you're going to be gone, So what I did was I applied at the county. They were starting 911. So I knew the sheriff. I had interviewed him for the 911, doing the story on 911. And he goes, well, you want to work here?
And there you go.
I said, yeah, okay. So I got a job with the sheriff's department.
All right.
And I worked there. And while I was working there, my wife and I used to go to Santa Monica all the time in the summertime for like the weekend. And we go down there, and I told her, I said, man, I really, really, really would love to work in here. But I said, but I don't know. What am I going to do? And she goes, well, they got a police department. They have 911 and stuff. I said, yeah, I don't know. So we would go there. And one day I looked online, and they're advertising for 911. So I apply, and I go down there.
You got the job.
I got the job.
You've had a lot of good luck. I mean, with the places closing, you left the radio stations.
Yeah.
Not on your fault. It was just because.
Yeah.
But you've always been lucky enough to land another gig.
So there I am. I'm working in Santa Monica, and Santa Monica is like the heartbeat of the movie industry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I used to actually, because I was with the police department, we could do what they call movie jobs, security for the movies. So
It's a cool gig.
Oh man, that's great. You get there, you watch it, the traffic and stuff, and then you get like all the when they have craft services, you get to eat free and stuff. But you work like you get paid overtime for like 18 hours, whatever. So I was doing that. I said, man, I'd love to be in the movie business.
And now
Now you're in the movie
I'm in the movie
business.
business.
And you got a job.
Yeah.
I
So
love
I
it.
retired,
I love
and
it.
then this is what happens. You know?
And here you go. So now you're in the movie business, and we got booze, broads, and blackjack, which sounds like a deadly combination to me.
It is, yeah.
It is,
And
but
then there's more to the story, too.
yeah, I know. I see that's right here on the book. If you can get this book right off of Amazon right now,
Right.
correct?
Yes. Mhm.
Correct.
Yep.
So what's the background of the story?
So,
Yes.
so the background of this story is there's a guy. His name is Jack King. Jack King, carved
Like
by
it.
Jack King.
Yep.
and he's a professional gambler. He plays blackjack. So Jack King, I think that works out. And what happens is he wants to move to California from
Syracuse?
From Syracuse. The name of the station is WCUS. It's
Okay.
Cuse. They call it the Cuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So he's working there, and he wants to go to California, and that's his dream, And he has an uncle who is a crime boss, and he owns a strip club and stuff like that. And so Jack does part-time work for his uncle as a collector. He
Okay.
collects, for loan sharking and stuff, And one day he goes to a tournament, a blackjack tournament, a local one, underground club. And if you win that tournament, they send you to Las Vegas for the blackjack tournament where you pay $50,000. The owner gets $50,000.
Okay.
So he wants to go to. So he ends up going to Vegas, and he tells his uncle he's going to Vegas, and he says, "Well, good." He goes, "That works out perfect." He goes, "What hotel are you going to?" And I had a favorite hotel in Vegas. It was called the Stardust.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it still standing?
No, it's
No,
not.
it's
Yeah.
gone.
Okay.
And
It's gone.
actually, when
Okay.
they imploded that back in 2007, I cried. I really cried because it was my favorite place.
What's your
So-
favorite now?
The Flamingo.
Oh, really? You don't like the newer ones?
No, I
yeah,
like
but
old
the
school
Flamingo.
stuff.
Yeah, I was
It's
going to
old
say the
school.
Flamingo's been there for a long
Long
time.
time.
Yeah, well, that was Bugsy Siegel, back
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
Sam knows a lot about that. He's been up
My
to
favorite
Vegas
is Bellagio.
Yeah, Bellagio was great too.
with all the fountains.
yeah.
So, so in the book, I couldn't use Stardust because even though it was torn down, I still couldn't use
Right,
it.
right.
So I made Starburst.
Oh.
Okay. So
Clever.
And then so his name is Uncle Vinny. Okay, in the book, he says, "Well, when you go to the Starburst, I want you to do this. You got to meet the owner, and you got to pick up a briefcase for him." And he didn't want to do it, and his uncle makes him do it, and then from there everything goes to hell for the
Downhill.
weekend. It's like a wild weekend.
Right.
And that's what the whole book and the movie is about. The movie's going to be a little bit different than the book. Read the book, and then you'll be surprised at the ending in the movie.
So the ending is different
Yeah,
than the
yeah.
ending in the book.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so in the meantime, his Uncle Vinny. When I was writing the book, I was thinking of a character that I could use, in my mind, to try to describe him as, and I kept thinking of Big Pussy in The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And first I thought about Tony Soprano, but then he died.
He passed away,
He
yeah.
passed away, sadly. So in my mind, I was thinking of Big Pussy. Vincent Pastore as my kind of like idol, or not idol, but my image of the
Right.
book.
Of who you want.
Yeah, who I'd
Sure.
want. Yeah. So I wrote the book, and that's who I patterned it after. Well, when it comes to getting the movie made, the director goes, "Who do you want to be in this movie? Who would you like to be Uncle Vinny?"
Right.
And I said, "Well, really, I thought Vincent Pastore."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, okay." So we had a girl that we were hiring as a casting director. Her name is Felissa Rose. And we tell her, and she goes, "Oh, my God, I know Vinny." She goes, "We can get him." So,
Oh my gosh.
so we get Vincent Pastore to play Uncle Vinny in the movie.
It's right up his alley.
I know
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect. It was perfect.
And how were you on? You must have been on set every day,
Yeah.
and you
so
watched all that go down. Who is the director?
the director's name is Ricky Bird.
Okay.
And he's done several independent films.
I got you.
Yeah, he's pretty well known in the independent community, and he just did a movie called Machine Gun Baby.
Okay.
And they had a film festival in San Diego, and it won like all the awards in San Diego. And it's a short film, 30 minutes, but it's about this this abortion clinic. Okay, there's a doctor,
Okay.
Dr. Spurlock, who also happens to be in my movie, D.T. Carney, who plays Dr. Spurlock. And he runs an abortion clinic, and he specializes in doing late-term abortions. This is kind of really strange. I mean, yeah, people are going to say, this is too
Yeah,
easy,
yeah.
As a matter of fact, I did too, actually.
Okay.
But what happens is they do the abortion on this lady, and they throw the baby in the dumpster. Well, the baby's not dead, okay? So the baby wakes up, and in the dumpster, it just so happened that they had some chemicals or something that he gets in contact with, and he gets like superpowers, whatever. So he comes out of the dumpster.
Sounds a little crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It
I'm
is.
just
Starts
saying.
killing everybody.
Well,
Carl
he
Nacita. A little nuts, but that's all right.
Yeah. So he ends up getting an AK-47, and he goes
Oh,
in
my
there
God.
and he kills everybody in the abortion clinic.
Oh my.
That's why they call it Machine Gun Baby.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
Wow.
crazy. But
Wow.
it wasn't. No offense to Ricky, it was a great movie for you, Ricky, but for me, it
Yeah,
wasn't. But anyway,
yeah. Teach their own.
Yeah.
I get that. I
So
get
then-
that.
So then, now he's doing a legitimate feature film.
Now, Booze, Broads, and Blackjack. Who do you think this would appeal to?
Okay, so this appeals to anybody that likes Casino, the movie Casino. Mm-hmm. The movie's Goodfellas. Goodfellas. Okay.
Sopranos.
I'm laughing
you like
because
Godfather.
before the mics
Exactly.
went on.
Exactly.
Before the mics went on, and back at the station, the radio station, Sam is actually the general manager of the Wolf, and we were talking about this, and Sam's like, he knows all the Goodfellas, he knows all that
Well,
stuff. He goes,
Goodfellas
"Dude,"
is one of my favorite
yes.
movies
Oh, man.
of all time. Actually, and Godfather's another one.
He's like,
so.
you need somebody Italian there to.
Yeah.
That's what
to
I
talk
said
to
to him.
Carl. He said that to me
Yeah.
today,
So
and I said, you don't show up, you don't get a mug. I'm just saying.
So one of my favorite writers is Nicholas Pileggi, who wrote Goodfellas
Yep.
and Casino, actually, and then Martin Scorsese, I mean, he's
Right.
he's
Legend.
yeah. So he's like, those are my idols, So I kind of wanted to pattern everything after what they did. So the movie, okay, it starts out in Syracuse at this radio station in Syracuse, and then it goes to Las Vegas.
Not really though, right? It was just, or did you?
We did a few scenes.
Did you shoot some
Yeah,
scenes?
You did shoot
oh,
scenes
wow.
here? Oh, I
Okay.
didn't know that.
Okay.
So it makes a lot of
Had
reference
no
to
idea.
Syracuse.
Okay.
And you're going to see those shots of Syracuse, and
Okay.
you're going to see, this, So they go to Las
Were
Vegas.
you here for that when they did the shot?
Yeah,
Oh, you were?
we weren't here very long because it
Okay.
was just like an in and out thing, so you don't see a lot of it. But so they go to Vegas, and it's a lot of Vegas stuff, because I have connections in Vegas,
Right.
and so if you like Casino,
Yeah.
it's Vegas,
Okay.
and it's great, and so it starts in Syracuse, goes to Vegas, and it comes back to Syracuse.
Wow. And WCUS.
Yeah, the
I
Qs.
love that. I love that. So the premiere is coming up on Saturday night at the Palace Theater. Let's see, the date would be the 16th.
16.
Is Vincent going to be there for the premiere?
No, unfortunately, I wanted Vincent to be here, and he was going to be here, but then it comes. We just found out right before he was supposed to come that he's doing a movie in Saudi Arabia.
Oh wow.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
and he left Tuesday.
I just saw him at about a year ago at Del Lago Casino.
Right.
He was doing a comedy act, and I bought tickets for my wife and I. It was funny, but it's all he. I mean, the character he plays in Sopranos, that's how he is on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that in real life, but
He really. The great thing about this was when he came out there, I was the executive producer, and we're on a tight budget. I mean, we're a small budget. I won't tell you how much it is.
No, it's
when
not
you
my
see the movie-
business, but
when
it's
you see the movie,
interesting.
you won't believe what the budget was for the movie we do. I mean, it's really, really good.
Awesome.
Not to brag or anything.
No, but you should.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
something to be
I
proud
had
of.
I was Vinny's handler basically. So I had to pick him up at the airport and bring him, to the studios and what is it? We had him for the weekend. We were able to get him for the weekend. So what happened was the day he's supposed to come out was on a Friday, and we're going to shoot on Saturday and Sunday. And that Friday, 2 years ago, they had a terrible snowstorm in Syracuse, in New York City, right? So I'm going to pick him up at Burbank at like 8 o'clock at night. In the meantime, I'm bowling during the day, and my phone's ringing, and I'm bowling. And in between, I go, it's Vinny. So I call him, and he goes, yeah, I'm stuck at JFK, and they're snowed out, and what do I do? So he goes, I can't get there. I said, you can't. You got to come.
can't-
I mean, I got 50 people lined up for tomorrow, and we
Right.
can't cancel everybody. And well, what the fuck are you going to do? I said, all right. Let me see if we can make a reservation. So in the meantime, what happened was I was able to get a hold of JetBlue because it came on JetBlue, and they just switched them over to Saturday, which caused a problem because now we're short a day.
right.
Right.
But
Tighter
we were
schedule.
able to. Well, he goes, well, such a nice guy. He said, okay, I'll stay till Monday. So he extended it, So we got the thing, and I brought him in there. We were able to do our shooting and everything. And then the day I'm supposed to bring him back home, we're going to go to Burbank, and this guy is paranoid. I mean, he's paranoid about getting back because he goes, I got to teach a class Tuesday, and I got to be there on time.
He's worried
And I
about
said,
the
well,
weather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the weather was fine, and there was no problem. And I said, Vinny, don't worry about it. We're gonna get you there. I'm gonna get you there. It takes an hour and 90 minutes to get there, and I know exactly how to. No, it's going to take us 5 hours to get there. You know, I know LA traffic. I said, no, I do. You don't, because you live in New York City. I live here. So we take him off. He wants to be there early. So I get him down there. And we're about 30 minutes away. And he goes, what time is it? I said, it's 4 o'clock. He goes, my plane leaves at 9 o'clock. I said, I know. We got plenty of time. Don't worry. You know.
Right.
He goes, we're not going to make it. I said, so when I was taking him, my assistant calls me and says, where are you guys? I said, well, we're at, right now we're at Burbank exit, whatever, you know. Oh, he goes, oh, you're about 30 minutes away. And then he goes, shut the fuck up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. I said, see, I told you. So we pull into the airport at 5 o'clock, okay? And we get there, and he goes, just drop me off here. I'll go in there, and I'll get my tickets, and then we'll go to dinner. You know, okay. So I drop him off, and when I drop him off, I wanted to wait for him, you know, because he's going to get his, or not, he was going to drop off his luggage. He had his tickets already. He was going to drop off his luggage. And the cop there goes, no, you can't stay here. And I said, well, I used to work for Santa Monica PD, and I said, this is Vincent Pastore, and he sees him, and he knows. He goes, I'll tell you what, just drive around the circle, you know, and when he comes out, you can just pull in and pick him up, and I'll keep the spot open for you. So I do. And I come back, and he's standing there. I go, what happened? And he goes, well, I went in there, and they're not open yet because they don't leave till they don't open up till 7 o'clock.
He was
so
in a hurry to get there.
We got 2 hours to kill. So I said, oh my god.
Oh my god, what an experience though.
Oh man, and he was just really funny, and
he wasn't pissed off at all. It was just
no.
like, well. You know.
So then we want to go to dinner. I was going to take him to this nice Italian restaurant that I know right there. And he goes, no. He goes, let's just go to. There was a China Palace or something, you know, some stupid thing,
right?
You know, like fast food place, whatever. So we go there, and we order our dinners, and I got mine, and he has his, and we're eating. And he looks at mine and goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, that's some kind of shrimp, you know, whatever, shrimp tempura, whatever."
Yeah.
It is. He goes, "Oh, let me try it." So he takes it off my plate, right, and he eats it. And then he looks at that, and he goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, that's orange or whatever, you know." And he goes, "Oh, orange chicken." He goes, "Oh, let me try that." And I said, "Do you want to finish this?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm kind of hungry."
So you established a great relationship with him
Oh,
from the
man.
minute you met him, when you met with that woman that knew him,
Right.
and now you guys keep in touch all the time.
So
man.
his scenes only took 3 days to shoot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole thing took us 30 let's see, 1 month, about a month to shoot.
Okay.
Everything, yeah. But his days were.
And how many hours a day do you shoot?
You're doing like.
It
12
always
hours.
vary? Yeah, 12 hours?
Yeah, 12 hours a day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so one more big wild story that you're not going to believe this. All right,
Can't
so
wait.
before we sign up Vinny, I had a dream. Okay, I wake up in the middle of the night. I wake up with my wife and I said, I just had the strangest dream. She goes, "What is it?" I said, "Well, I dreamed that Vinny was doing our movie, and what happened was he was there at the hotel, and I went to pick him up to bring him to the set, and when I get there, he's gone." And I asked the clerk, I said, "What do you mean he's gone?" He goes, "Yeah, he's gone. He went out in the ocean and he disappeared." And I said, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, I think the mob was after him, but they went, you know, he just disappeared, you know." So I tell my wife, and my wife says, "Oh, you're crazy," you know. So next thing you know, about a half hour later, the phone rings, and it's Ricky Bird, the director, calling me saying, "Hey, Vinny just said he's going to sign their, you know, movie." So I said, "Well, maybe that's what my dream was about." You know, maybe I had premonition he was going to sign.
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
signs. So now we're going to fast forward back to when I take him to Burbank at the airport. We're sitting there, and he's real anxious to get to the gate. He wants to be the very first person at the gate because he doesn't want anybody to see him, you know, because he doesn't want to be noticed. In the meantime, everybody sees him anyway because you can't miss him. You know what I mean? How you going to miss him? So I go, don't worry, we're okay. And he's sitting there, and we're drinking coffee, and he's, I got to get there. I said, "Relax." You know, he goes, "No." He goes, "Why don't you just take me to the beach, and I'll disappear?"
Oh my God.
I said,
Man.
"Can you say that again, please?"
This is amazing.
And he
This
goes,
is
"Why don't you just take me to the beach and I'll disappear?" I said, "Oh my God."
Now, you just dreamt up this movie, or did you, is there any truth to it? How did you come up with this whole concept?
So like the only truth is that I
You moved to California.
moved to California. I was a disc jockey that wanted to move to California,
Right.
basically, you know, and I played blackjack, and I stayed at the Stardust,
Right.
you know. So, but yeah, it's just
Wow.
Great.
So it just
Yeah.
all came about?
yeah. Now, yeah, I mean it's weird.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's Carl Nicita. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Nicita, right?
Yeah.
And Booze Broads and Blackjack.
Yeah.
Every time I look at that title, I go, that is not good. Put all them together.
That's
So-
a line. That's one of the lines in the movie. That is not good.
that is not good.
Yeah.
That is not good. And you said the book, every chapter ends with a song?
Yes. Yes. So like, well, let's look at chapter 1 here.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
And by the way, you can go on Amazon.com and get this book. And
By the way, the dedication.
dedications to the late Dan Leonard, a true broadcasting legend, mentor, and friend.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
So,
God bless you, my friend. That's so cool.
all right. So the end of chapter 1 or chapter 2, the end of
Years ago, about 10 years ago, not to get off the topic, a young kid came in and wanted to intern with our radio stations. And I'm talking to him. He started interning, and he told me that he was Dandy Dan Leonard's grandson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if he's still in this area. He was from like the Auburn area.
Oh man. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, if he's hearing this, or maybe I can look him up.
Yeah, you
his
never know.
first-
You
know
never
his first name?
oh, it was so long ago. I can't even
'Cause,
remember.
yeah. Man, that'd be great if he can go to it.
I know.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So at the end of chapter 2, the end it says Misty, which is Jack's girlfriend. Okay, her name is Misty. So how I
Play
got that-
Misty for me?
Yeah, exactly. That's where that came from. Her name was Misty Rebel. Okay. Misty sat with her eyes closed and stethoscope headphones plugging her ears while listening to Jetliner by the Steve Miller
Steve
Band.
Miller Band.
Yeah.
That's a great 70s tune.
Yeah.
And you said this book is written in the 70s. Well,
Yeah. So this was
70s style.
Yeah, it was basically 1978, 79.
So when you read it, you're going to get that flashback to the
and everything,
70s.
and everything. So that was what we had planned to do for the movie. We wanted to make it that way, but it would just it would have cost us millions of dollars, for like the cars. I mean, look at Quentin Tarantino, what he did. It was like $100 million, for that movie. So so there's no way. So what we did was we kept it the same as the script I wrote, except it's in modern day. We try not to remind people, because there is a guy that drives one of the mob guys. He drives an old Cadillac from like 1963 or something.
Very cool. Yeah, Saturday with the premiere, you're going to do a little Q&A too, I understand.
Yes, yes, we have. Now, I tried to get Vinny to come. He couldn't make it. I tried to get Joe Raffa to come, and unfortunately, he's the one who plays Jack King.
Right.
Yeah, he's a really talented actor, really great guy. Yeah, he couldn't make it. So I got two actors that are flying in from LA tomorrow. I have to pick them up. One is her name is Sarah French,
Okay.
and she just did a movie called Blind, which is winning a lot of awards. It's a she works actually in the horror genre,
Okay.
Okay.
which to me, I'm not really into the horror. I mean,
That's like a whole nother.
Yeah.
yeah, but people are really into it. I mean, they're really.
Oh, yeah. I have a
a
niece that is really into it.
Yeah.
She loves that
So
stuff.
she may be familiar with Sarah.
Okay.
She's winning awards for that. They've been showing it at film festivals and everything. So, and she plays one of the characters, and they're called Alicia. And then there's another guy. His name is D.T. Carney, and he's been in a lot of. I mean, if you look at his IMDb, he's got all kinds of credits, for movies and things he's been in. As a matter of fact, he was in the one there. Did you ever see the movie The Sinatra Place? At the Sinatra Place, it was
No.
about John Gotti's headquarters.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was on Netflix. He was in that with Henry Hill, the actual Henry.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, the actual Henry
Yeah,
Hill?
yeah. They were in that movie, and his name is in the book and in the movie. His name is Tom Maselli. And my grandfather's last name was Maselli, so I thought, okay, I'm going to use that name. So, and it's supposed to be at the remember the Poorhouse North?
Yes.
Very well.
Well, that's in the book, but we
Really?
used this. We used an iconic restaurant in Bakersfield called the Alley Cat, and they a lot of the scenes are there.
Yeah.
Supposed to be. At the
But you
Poor-
called it the Poorhouse
yeah,
North.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at the Poorhouse North and the Poorhouse West.
Yeah.
So, I was bouncing around between those.
Do you actually play blackjack?
Past.
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes. Yeah.
Good game.
I've been in a lot of blackjack tournaments.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
They're a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
See the cards.
Yeah.
And today,
Jack King.
today they have so many different versions of blackjack. Like I was at the casino a couple weeks ago, and there's newer games. There's games in the blackjack game.
Really,
you know?
I have no idea. Sam is so into that, and I respect him for that. And it's a whole different, But I'm not a gambler. I don't do too much.
No, he doesn't.
But hearing Sam talk about it,
Yeah.
and it's like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it gets in your blood, it's hard to. It's
Yeah.
like radio. Same
Right.
thing. Radio. It's-
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we've been doing that a long time.
Could be dangerous. So
Can be.
my
But you were lucky. Anytime they closed the doors, you got another job.
Right.
But
so my dream again. I have another dream, is we're going to move to Las Vegas. My wife and I, she's going to retire next year, and we're going to move to Las Vegas. So, but she goes, "Are we going to have money?" But luckily, you know what? I'm pretty good at playing.
What's the cost of living in Las Vegas?
Actually, it's cheaper.
I was going to say, with everything that's going on, you got, with all the gambling and everything, that's got to bring the cost of living actually down.
Yeah.
That money's being put back into the city.
Right.
So
And
it's got
the
to be
nice thing
cheaper
for
to live.
people who live there is they don't have any state income tax.
Right.
Which California has a really high. state
Welcome to
income
New
tax.
York, my friend.
Yeah,
There's a
California
lot
too,
of
same thing.
taxes.
So the cost of living is a little bit lower. Cost of gas is a lot lower compared to where I live right now in California. Right now we're paying $4 something a gallon for gas.
Wow.
Yeah, and I know it's $2.39.
$2.30. Yeah, $2.49.
Yeah.
And in California, it takes it 2 hours to make the commute to work.
Right.
One
So
way.
Yeah, so you're using up
You know,
more and more gas.
yeah, exactly. It's and the 405. I mean, we've all heard about the 405, but what's it, 5 lanes across each way, and it's all bumper to bumper. I don't know how you do that.
Well, you never get a speeding ticket.
I guess not.
I don't know why they call it rush hour because how you can
Right.
rush,
So it's Carl Nacita, and the movie's coming out: Booze, Broads, and Blackjack. Dangerous. In the book, there's more to the story. It's available on Amazon, by the way, and we're very excited that you're here telling us
Thank you
a
very
lot
much
of
for
these
being here.
great stories.
Do you miss it? Do you miss anything in Syracuse?
Heights.
What?
Heights.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Liverpool,
it's
yeah,
still.
Heights,
Have you
yeah.
been
I
since
went
you've been
today.
back?
I went
yeah?
today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get a
And
Heights.
I used
Coney.
to see. I came back every year. I'd come back, in
Right.
the summertime to visit. And my parents, but they passed away. And my mom used to come out to California. So whenever I came here, I would always get like an ice chest full of
Oh right.
the Hoffman's hot dogs.
Yeah.
Bring them back, and then she would do the same thing for me, when she came out. And but you can order Hyde's hot dogs
Online.
online
Yeah.
for like $90 for like 12
And
hot
have them
dogs.
shipped. Oh wow! And have them shipped out.
I love
That's
them that
crazy.
much, but no,
Yeah.
So you must have you took the red eye to get here because
Yes.
coming from the West Coast, it's always a red eye.
Yeah.
Red eye 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So-
So I left California at 8:30 at night on I don't know what day it is. On Monday, I think it is, and I got in Tuesday morning at 9 in the morning.
Sleep on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
it's hard
really,
though.
Yeah, it really is hard.
Hard. The JetBlue.
JetBlue.
JetBlue's
My
awesome.
favorite my favorite.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, very very good. Where do you see this go after the premiere at the Palace? Where do you see this movie going?
Okay, so in 2 weeks I have a meeting set up with a distributor in Hollywood. They're pretty good, pretty big independent distributor. But the thing is, I got some other ones that are also interested in buying the rights to the movie. So if they do that, then they can buy the rights and then they can distribute it. And then once they make their money, then I get royalties. I get paid, and then I
Right.
get royalties and stuff. Or there's a way you can self-distribute, but there was a company that was called Distributor that a lot of independent filmmakers were doing. What you go to them and you just pay for it yourself, kind of like self-publishing books. And then they would put it on Amazon and all this stuff like that. Well, guess what they did? They took everybody's money, and they did put it online, but then they weren't paying them.
Oh.
They stole everybody's money, so now they're going bankrupt. So I think we're gonna have to go back to getting a regular distributor.
That would be a great series, like on Netflix.
Well,
That's
an
what I was
ongoing
going to
series.
mention.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, Netflix
Netflix
is,
and
And every week he has to do a job for his uncle.
So I'm not going to tell you how the movie ends.
Right.
So keep that in mind when you see how it ends, and you say, "Oh,
Because like he could do a job, and then the next week, well, you got one more job to do for me, and I'll let you out.
Yeah.
And then
it
obviously
keeps-
I watch too many mom movies, and then it keeps going and it keeps going, and then the guy gets hungry for the money, and
So that's another thing in the movie, and I can't remember if it's in the book, but his girlfriend Misty, the uncle sends him to Misty witnesses the mob crew. They go to Vinny's apartment, and she goes down to smoke a cigarette in the middle of the night, and one of Vinny's crews come by and they're dumping a body in the dumpster, and she sees it. So they see her, because they know her,
right.
So they tell Vinny. So when Jack's gonna tell him he's going to Vegas, he goes, "You're going to Vegas by yourself. You're not going to take your girlfriend, because we know what she saw,
Right.
And he goes, "So what?" And he goes, "Oh, we know, So he says, "Okay." He says, "You cannot take her with you." Well, he tells her, and she goes, "Well, you're going to do this job, and then you're going to do another job, and you're going to do another job, and you're going to end up like your father, because his father was in the mob,
Oh,
his father gets whacked. He goes, "No, I'm not going to." So that was like a line in the thing, but he takes her. Okay, like a dummy, he takes Misty to Vegas, and that's so that's what complicates things even
Gotcha.
more. So.
How long did it take you to put all this together?
So the book originally, like I said, started out kind of as like a joke, when I was with my friends.
Right.
And I went back there and I started writing it, and I wrote 5 chapters. This actually was in November when I had the idea. Go back, start writing. In April, I had about 5 chapters. April of the following year.
Did you do it like every day or?
Well, I was just doing it as I went along,
Okay.
So I had 5 chapters, and I had a buddy of mine that worked at Santa Monica PD. We used to meet halfway between Bakersfield and LA in Santa Clarita, where they had that shooting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we meet there for lunch, and I showed him the 5 chapters, and he goes, "Oh, that's good, but where's the rest of it?" I said, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to finish it." He goes, "No, you got to finish it." He goes, "So what I want you to do is I want you to, every week when we meet for lunch, you bring me a new chapter every week."
Well, there you go.
And I said, "Okay." So I wrote every week I'd do that. I'd bring him a new chapter. And finally, when I got to about the 12th, by that time I was so absorbed into the story
Right.
that I just went nonstop, and I was just writing, and I wrote the whole thing as it just came. It was like a stream of consciousness. And my wife would come in to talk to me, and
You're like in your own world.
Yeah, she goes, "Are you listening to me?" I go, "Yeah."
You got to
really
lock the
mad.
door.
She got really mad.
Concentrate.
But
Yeah.
so I finished it, and then I brought it, and that was it. And I finished it.
By the way, I'm not writing a book, and I do that to my wife. Yeah.
No comment.
good. Yeah. She's probably listening right now.
Right.
She's probably got it on Gina's going. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But all these ideas, I mean, you had to write the chapters. You got the movie, but did you talk to anybody while doing this, saying, tell me how well, I guess working for the PD, you kind of have an idea where, a body in the dumpster or this happened or that happened.
So that's an interesting thing. Okay, so Jack King is basically a disc jockey, kind of based on my background as a disc jockey. Then I have a detective who is based on my background at the police department.
Okay.
So they're all kind of like me, And then I've always had this fascination with the mob. I mean, I if you check my bookshelf, I got like 30 different books on the mob, on mob movies and everything.
Oh,
like that.
okay.
I was just fascinated by it. It was a fascinating thing. And people, when I used to work at the in Kern County, Bakersfield, they were starting to wonder about me because when it was slow times, we could watch TV. And I always be watching like the
old mob flicks.
Yeah,
Right.
And they're going, huh. So, but that was just because not that
I get it.
I was with it, but I mean, it's in my thing.
Interesting.
So I had all that, so I could actually use that as a way to write.
And Booze, Broads, Blackjack are premiering at the Palace on Saturday night
at 6.
at 6.
Yep.
At 6.
And
then you're going to do a little Q&A after.
Yeah. So so my cousin, I don't know if you're familiar with Nick Mara.
Yes, very well.
Okay.
Yep.
He's my cousin, right? And,
I didn't know that. Small world.
It really is. It really is a small world when you talk.
I'd love to get him here on the podcast.
Oh
one of
man,
these times, so
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, he'd be great.
Yes.
So he agreed to be the MC for the show. So he's going to MC the. We're having a red carpet. Okay, so it's going to be we have a step and repeat thing, where people kind of like at the Academy Awards
Yep,
thing. People
yep,
come in,
yep,
get their pictures
yep.
taken. A guy hired a professional photographer to take pictures for everybody, and then they can get pictures with the actors and stuff. And then that's going to be between 6 and 7. Then at 7 o'clock we're going to have the movie. Movie's an hour and a half, and then at 8:30 we're going to do the Q&A, and then the audience can ask questions about whatever.
That's great.
And then
I think that's awesome.
and like I said, going to MC it. And then at 8:30, they have a bar so they can have like a social hour, so people can come have drinks and just socialize with
Yep.
each other.
What's so cool is you're one of us. You're from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 40 years ago, you went to the West Coast, started a whole new life, so to speak.
Yep.
Just from a phone call. And now you put out a book. You got the movie that's going to premiere on Saturday.
Yep.
And we wish you a lot of luck,
Thank you.
Carl Nasita.
Thank
So
you very
this
much.
is
And
so
the
very
thing
cool.
is, this book, the book and the movie. See, the reason I wanted to have the premiere here, I insisted that we have it because they wanted to do it on the West Coast, because everybody's on the West Coast, all the
Right.
actors and stuff. And I said no.
Right.
I said this book is about Syracuse.
Right.
I'm going to have the movie premiere in Syracuse because it's about Syracuse for Syracuse.
That's great.
Yeah, and it's kind of my gift to the community since
It seems that, and Sam probably can speak about this a little bit, but lately there have been movies being shot right here in
A
Syracuse.
lot of movies.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
they have that new studio.
They do. They have a couple studios, but the
Yeah.
big one's in Liverpool.
Yeah.
And the guy has roots here, family
yes,
here.
yes.
He bought the elementary school.
Yeah.
And my son Jacob, who's
He's-
21, I should know this by heart. He's 21 years old. He's been working on some of those movies.
Oh, man,
they
that's
just
awesome.
shot one with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And my son was working on something yesterday
Oh man.
down in Armory Square. So
And this is not. I cannot recall when this has happened.
I don't
before.
ever remember it.
So it's like all of a sudden all this is developing and they're using Syracuse for some movies. I know there have been a few movies made here, but not like what's happening right now.
Right. I mean, I Cuomo's been giving these guys some serious breaks on
Right.
taxes. So now instead of shooting in New York City, they're coming here.
Get them upstate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they have to do because, tax breaks are a big deal.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the company. So I'm involved in two companies. Hectic Films
Okay.
is the ones that the
Yeah, I saw that
directors-
online. Hectic
and then
Films.
Film
Okay.
Regions International. That's one of the producers, and they try to. They're looking like New Mexico and things like because you get
Right.
really good tax breaks in there. But the only problem is then you have to go there and you have to hire all the people from those areas.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
and Bakersfield, we're trying to do the same thing in Bakersfield. Ricky and Hectic Films, we have a studio set up there and stuff. So hopefully, if this does really well, this will be a nice springboard for Hectic Films.
Excellent. Yeah. Very, very cool. Hey, changing the subject a little bit.
Sure.
And living out in California in Bakersfield, the fires. Has that come close to you?
My gosh, fortunately, Bakersfield, we're in the San Joaquin Valley.
Okay.
So we're 100 miles north of LA, and there's mountains all around us. Okay. When I worked at the fire department, I used to hate summertime because the slightest little thing would start a brush fire. I mean, we have like lightning storms, but they wouldn't have rain.
Right.
And in August they have the monsoons, and there's no rain. So it used to be that when it happened in August, you're going to get. I mean, every day you're going to get a different fire. Luckily, you're not in the city of Bakersfield, but around the mountains around us. Well, now because of climate change, which controversial, I know,
I think it's happening.
it's getting worse and worse and worse, and it's just the whole state. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. I mean, towns are burning up because they just had that fire a couple weeks ago in Simi Valley, I think it was, and the winds were 80 miles an hour.
I can't even imagine that.
Wow.
And I see it on the news, and it's just like I cannot imagine how quick.
Yeah.
The house is there 1 minute, the next minute it's
gone,
just a ball of fire.
And it's, I mean, what do you do? You know?
Unbelievable.
I mean, a hurricane, force winds, and fire, and everything just goes up. So.
But you're okay.
Oh yeah. Bakersfield, knock on wood.
Okay.
Please, we're okay, but the problem is we're getting all the smoke because we're in the valley, so we're getting the smoke from Northern California and we're getting the smoke from Southern California, and it's kind of settling over us, and so so the air quality is really really bad.
Yeah. This is the worst it's ever been.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I feel bad for the people who work at the fire department. I used to work there, and
Oh, they're probably
911.
constantly.
Oh my God,
on call.
it's like just crazy.
Well, Carl Nicita, so cool having you here.
Great. Thank you very much.
And
It's great
hearing
being
about the movie, hearing about the book, Booze, Broads, and Blackjack, there's more to the story. I love the cover, by the way.
If
And you got the hat?
if this becomes very successful and you do a part 2, I could be your guy.
All right. Yeah.
I'll be in the movie. I'll fly out there.
all right.
I
Oh, yeah.
love a
Oh, yeah.
part in a mob
he
movie.
would definitely
Yeah.
do that.
I'm
Yeah, we
Italian. I could
Yeah.
We got
play
it.
one of the roles. I know all about cards.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You got it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be a dealer or
One of the
anything.
dealers. Well, as a matter of fact, okay, so here's the funny thing too. Okay, I wrote the movie and thing. I'm the executive producer. People ask me, "Are you in the movie?" I say, "Well, yes, but no." Okay, so you're gonna see me. I do cameo roles. Okay.
Okay.
At the beginning, I'm a dealer at the.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any lines or anything, but I'm there.
You're just
And
doing
then,
your thing.
yeah, and then you'll see me. Like, if you just see me in the background, I drive an Uber.
Oh, really?
And a little. I mean, you won't even notice me there.
You know it's you.
Yeah, I know.
Did you shoot in a real casino or
Yes.
you did?
Yeah. Now here's another thing. We so the movie's based in Vegas and about Vegas. We did a lot of exterior shots in Las Vegas. I did do some of the light at nighttime, lights out through the windows because. So there was a hotel. I'm not going to say which one it was. Okay, that we were able to use for the exterior lighting shots at night.
Sure.
And I was able to rent out like the top story of the hotel. It was
Right.
on the 28th floor. Okay. And we had like 6 rooms because we had rooms for the actors, we had rooms for the crew, and then we had rooms where we're actually doing the shooting from. So While I'm there, they're doing a scene. It's kind of like well, I'll tell you, it's a sex scene. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, it's,
Okay, I'll watch it.
I can do those
yeah,
things.
The warning, it's going to be, there's a lot of bad language and, sex. Oh, and they also took over a strip club too. But anyway, so, so they're doing the sex scene, and I told them, I said, look, I said, the only people who are going to be there are just the 2 actors, and then the camera guy, the sound person, and the director. Nobody else, because we don't need to be gone.
Right,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
right.
Yeah. So I left, and I went across the street to another casino, and I'm there, and my phone rings, and Ricky, the director, calls me, and he goes, "Are you in your room?" Because my room was down the hall. I said, "No, I'm across the street." He goes, "Get over here right away." I said, "Why?" He goes, "We got a situation." I said, "A situation?" So I run over there, and I'm well known at this casino, and I get there, and there's 10 cops, Las Vegas PD cops, at the room where they're shooting this scene. I go, "What's going on?" They go, "Well, who are you?" I said, "Well, I'm the executive producer." And they said, "Okay, we're here because when we went there, we brought in like 3 full luggage carts of equipment, stuff, camera equipment and stuff. We brought in there and making a lot of noise and stuff. And we're on the 28th floor overlooking the street.
Wow.
In October of 2 years ago, they had that shooting.
You're right, at the concert.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
country
Yes.
concert.
Okay. And then here we are, January, 2 months later, we're doing this.
And you're hauling all this stuff in.
And one of the people down the hallway saw it, and so they called 911.
Yeah.
Said, "I think there's terrorists in the building." So, but the hotel knew we were there, and I talked to the security, and he goes, "Yeah, we know you're here. We just had to check it out."
Wow.
I thought, man, I'm going to be banned from Vegas.
Yeah.
How hard is it to get permission to shoot on some of these some of these locations?
So that's the thing, because what you have to keep in mind is we have another casino we used, which actually was in Southern California. It's called Pachanga Casino, which is a stand-in for the Starburst. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that anybody that's in the area that may get on film, they may be with their boyfriend or girlfriend or something,
Right.
Yeah, they don't want to be seen.
They don't want to be
Don't be
seen.
seen, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so you got to be real careful. So what we did was, the Pachanga said, "Yeah, you guys can shoot here. We have to have people with you at all times to see where you are, because they don't want people maybe recording something they shouldn't record,
Right.
when they're doing something. And anybody that's there has to be warned. You're going to be in a movie. Do you mind?"
But and do you have to pay?
We didn't have to pay them because they're getting free publicity. Basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Carl Nacita. This is the man. This is the man that put it all together. And of course, look at this hat. It's so cool. Booze, Broads, and Blackjack. And of course, the book. Jump online, buy that. I can't wait to read this.
So I got the book. I got the hats. I got T-shirts. I got shot glasses.
And all the stuff will be at the Palace,
yes,
too.
we
So
have Booze, Broads, and Blackjack cards.
very
So you can
cool.
play blackjack.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Very cool. Carl, thank you for taking the
Well,
time
thank
to
you
come
very much
over.
for being-
Welcome
this
back
is
to the
great.
Q's.
This is great.
Yeah.
And Skip Happens is what
Yeah,
I call
the
it.
Q's.
Of course,
So-
Skip Clark and Sam Furco.
Yeah,
And,
Great.
this has been really, really cool to have you here. Make sure you take the mug as a
I
little
definitely
souvenir.
will. Yeah, I definitely will. We'll
Yeah.
have it there.
And Sam's happy because he now gets one because he
now
did
get
show
one.
up tonight. Because today I told him, I said, "You don't show, you don't get a mug." That's all.
Well,
So now
he
he's
gets
here.
mugged.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we hope to see, I'm going to keep and we got the premiere, and let's see where it goes from
Yeah.
here. And it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And
So they can buy tickets online right now.
Okay.
If you buy them online, they're $15 for the tickets for the premiere. If you buy them at the door, hopefully you can get in. But I think there's going to be people. It's $18, $3 more at the door. Yeah.
that's all right. That's
But,
right. And they can go to the Palace Theater website probably to buy
it's
their
right to Palace
tickets.
Theater. That's right.
And
there.
they can
Yeah.
probably print them
James
out.
Street in Eastwood.
Yep.
Yes, very easy. And that's coming up Saturday, so November 16th. So
And-
if it's after that date when you see this, sorry, you missed out. But watch out for the movie because it's going to be cool.
Last time I went to the Palace Theater, I was 6 years old. I went and saw 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, really?
I remember that. I was like, oh wow.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was
well.
60 years ago.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
They've upgraded since then.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a beautiful,
very,
beautiful
very
Yeah,
theater.
it's really
it's
nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so here's the thing: I went there, and I can show you guys some clips after we go off the air. But I went there and I saw it on the screen, just as preview. It was like I was mesmerized, because the screen is so great, and
Right.
there was sound, it's so excellent and everything. It's just great.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's just great being here. It really is. I really appreciate you doing this.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad you got a hold of me, and
Thank you,
it's a
yeah,
pleasure to
yeah.
meet you.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting, and including what you've done. Even though you've moved away, you've put you're including Syracuse and all this.
Because like I said,
of course, Syracuse is you.
Yeah, and Brewerton too. Brewerton.
Yep.
I always wanted to make Brewerton famous. So
Well, you've done
In
well.
a good way.
And back in the day, the radio and the radio thing, but
So that's another thing. When I was a little kid watching TV, thinking about Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was there, and I was like, I'm a little kid from Brewerton, New York. Here
Right.
I am in like Hollywood. So I was like,
how
That's
cool is
great.
that?
so
It's kind of you kind of got to pinch yourself.
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
just
like, wow, is this really happening?
Yeah.
But it did happen.
Yep.
And we wish you much,
Thank you so much. Thank you,
success.
thank you.
Booze, broads, and blackjack. Deadly
and one more thing too. Remember I told you about my friends?
Yes.
I told them it was a joke. They're characters in the book. Their names.
Oh, are they?
I said if I'm going to do this, I got to put their
Yeah.
names in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's Denny, Larry.
You've
and-
thought all this out. I love it.
They're
I
they're
love
gonna
it.
they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there. And on Facebook, I have a picture of my friends. Okay, back in 1979, we used to bowl together. We had our picture taken. 35 years later, we were at Stella's. When we
Yeah.
was on, and I had our picture taken. So it was the same pose. Now it's 5 years later. We're
Right.
gonna take our picture.
Do it
taken
again.
Yeah. And
Love it.
Can you imagine like 40 years and we're still
That's
still,
awesome.
Still buddies. So
I
That's
love
great.
it. I love it. I love it.
whole
Absolutely
thing.
love it. I got to put the music on
there we
again.
go.
I love this.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
good,
this.
great music.
It's Carl Nasita, Booze, Broads, and Blackjack. And thank you again
Thank
for
you again.
welcome
It's
back
good-
to the
oh,
Cuse,
man,
my
it's so
friend.
great. It's so
You
great to
know,
be
it's
here.
an
So great.
honor to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Nice
It's
meeting you.
so exciting. And if you're seeing this before Saturday, you're watching it right now, come on out to the Palace Theater. What else are you going to do on a Saturday?
Right.
There
And
you
don't
go.
forget, you can do anything you want to do. If you really want to do it bad enough, believe me, you can.
You've
You
inspired me.
I know he's thinking
no
positive.
matter how old you are, whatever, you can do it.
Right.
Do
I love
it. Do
this.
it. Just do it.
I love this. It's been another edition of Skip Happens. Carl Nasita, he's coming out with his movie, so don't miss it. And I cannot believe that he's sitting right here with me here tonight. And of course, Syracuse in his blood. My big guy, my boss,
I
Sam.
love the Syracuse.
So yes, absolutely. Thank you for viewing, and make sure you share this with your friends and contribute to the cause as well. We want to see you at the Palace.